Okay, there's another black target that they have in their crosshairs. And I'm sure most or all of y'all had heard about Morgan Freeman and the 16 women that came forward, and there's 8 that's actually accusing him. Now, this is Bill Cosby 2.0. And I'm going to go on record to say that black people destroyed Bill Cosby. The majority of black people destroyed Bill Cosby because you jumped on the bandwagon of these alleged 60 females that came forward. Now, I know many of y'all say, why would 60 women lie on him? Well, like I mentioned in a prior video, if you are being paid to lie, you're going to lie. There's a movie that Eddie Murphy did at one time titled Holy Man. I advise you guys to go watch that movie, because in that movie, Eddie Murphy was supposed to have been a perfect, I guess like a Gandhi type person. And what the news media did was they paid this black female to come forward and say that she gave birth to his child, and he ran off and left her. And what ended up happening was she felt bad and ended up confessing that she was paid by the media to lie. So the devil never changes its tricks. And that's because of the fact that the tricks that the devil play, they actually work. Because humans are so gullible. You get a few women, several women to come forward and say certain things. The public is going to jump on it. She's going to play the victim role. She may even shed a few crocodile tears. And although she's lying, she's being paid or rewarded to lie. People will believe her. They will take sides with her without even producing a drop of evidence. Now, this is not a new tactic. This has been going on since Jesus' day, right? Now, I'm going to read a portion of scripture. And I know that everyone don't believe in the Bible. Everyone don't believe in God. And everybody have their opinions on God, the Bible, and even Jesus. But this is not a discussion about God, Jesus, or the Bible. This is just showing you that this is an old tactic that had been played by the devil since the beginning of time. Okay, now I'm going to read from Matthew's, the 26th chapter, starting at the 29th verse. And you guys can go back and read it for yourself. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought, in other words, they were looking for, false witnesses against Jesus to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses. Finally, they got 2 false witnesses, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days. Now, Jesus did say something like that. But what they did was take his words out of context. See, so they twist and they manipulate what you say, and they turn your truth into a lie. And there's people that have done that to me on YouTube. They'll say, Fearless, I remember you said X, Y, and Z in one of your videos. And then when I go back and listen to it, it was taken completely out of context. But they will twist it to make it seem like I contradicted myself, or I'm not being true to what I say. And then it says, and the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witnesses against these? In other words, what you got to say for yourself. But Jesus held his peace. And see, he was smart. He didn't say nothing. He didn't have to justify what he said, because he knew that regardless of what he said to try to defend himself, they were going to tear it down. Okay? And it says, Jesus answered thou nothing. Answered thou nothing. And it says, Jesus held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Now I'm going to end it right there, but that just goes to show that false witnesses have always been there. They've used that because of the fact that false witnesses work. Because people, in most cases, don't research and study or even think for themselves. They allow the media to think for them. Now, if you notice, everything that they say Morgan Freeman said. Now, keep in mind, he's not being accused of rape. There's keywords that they use for every single one. They did it for Tupac. They did it for Mike Tyson. They did it for Bill Cosby. They did it for Harry Weinstein, which Weinstein turned himself in, and he wasn't even cuffed. All right? So, but he's white. So they're after black celebrities. But it's funny that a lot of the black celebrities that they're going after are black celebrities that took the side of those naysayers that were coming against Bill Cosby. See? So it comes back on you. They're after black entertainers, and they know that black people, because black people hate each other, they're going to come against Morgan Freeman. Now, they did it with President Donald Trump. They deemed him as racist. Think of all the women that came forward against Donald Trump. Now, we don't hear much about Stormy Daniels anymore because it didn't work. Trump was smart. It did not work. But with these black entertainers, they're dragging these black entertainers in the mud. They're stripping them. And before long, I would not be surprised if a lot of these industries that gave Morgan Freeman awards or whatnot might take them back like they did Bill Cosby. So when these men die, they die in the walk of shame. Right? Now, there's like key words that they always use. Inappropriate behavior, sexual harassment, powerful men. They got to throw men in there. These men, powerful men. But no one ever talks about these women or females that's in positions of power, like school teachers, that's sexually molesting these children. And they may get a little time, but you don't hear much about them. Nobody talks about the creepy female, but everybody talks about the creepy man, right? Sexual assault, creepy. They always use the same buzzwords to get people's attention in the media. Now, like I was going to say, think about it. Everything Morgan Freeman did, everything he said was done openly. None of this stuff was done behind closed doors in the closet where they have no proof. They have actual video evidence of him saying that because he did it openly. Morgan Freeman did what every man do, every straight man. He flirts. He was flirting with these women. And keep in mind, none of these females, none of these women said anything at that time about being uncomfortable. And it has nothing to do with power. Because all they had to say was, you're making me uncomfortable. I don't appreciate that. I have a husband or I have a boyfriend. None of them corrected him on the spot. They even tried to come against Morgan Freeman with his stepdaughter. Tried to say he had sexual relations with his stepdaughter. That didn't work. That kind of faded away. People didn't talk about it. Now, out of the wind, they're coming with 16 women that's accusing him, 8 which came forward. Now, I've always had a question about that. Bill Cosby had 60 women, and then you had R. Kelly, and then you had other entertainers that they came with multiple females. Where are they getting all of these females to come forward at the same time? Is it like they sent out mass mailings? How do they contact these females to get so many women to come forward and say, he did it to me? Me too. Where are they getting all of these females to come out of the past? The media is good, man, because these people, with Bill Cosby, they came out of the 60s. You had females that you would think that were probably dead and gone, probably don't even watch TV anymore, but they found them. And they all came forward at the same time supporting each other. And I'm sure they had meetings to say, this is what we're going to say, because we know that lawyers, attorneys do prep people. They prep them. This is what you say. This is what you don't say. You say this, you don't say this. So when these females come forward and they start questioning them, they all say the same talking points because they were prepped for that. They were prepared for that. So was Morgan Freeman being a man, and was he being flirtatious? Yes, because it's on video. And there was no shame in Morgan Freeman's game. He did it openly. He did it while being interviewed on television, where everybody can see what he do. And there was one female that was wearing a red dress, and he was looking at her because, of course, her chest was showing, and she had this dress, and when she sat down in the seat in front of him, and she went to cross her legs, you can see just about everything. And he looked. He's supposed to look. He's a man. And it didn't seem like it made her uncomfortable, because she was smiling and she kept complimenting him, kept saying little things to him. So she didn't appear to be uncomfortable. And whenever Morgan Freeman made a comment in front of everyone, those females, they laughed, they joked it off. None of them seemed to be uncomfortable at that time. And it had nothing to do with the fact that he's a powerful man. And see, that's a buzzword that they use. Powerful men, these powerful men. But no one is ever talking about the powerful females that use their power to manipulate men, to control men. And right now, women, or the so-called Me Too movement, is doing the same thing. They're using what little power that was given to them to destroy men. Their agenda is to destroy men. And I think there's a much bigger agenda where you have all of these females. I have floods of articles, man, that I had not even posted on my blog site, where females were sexually assaulting and sodomizing little boys that they're supposed to be teaching in school. Oh, they're teaching them. They're teaching them the wrong thing. But you don't hear anything about these females that's in position of power that's molesting these underage boys. As young as 10, they're molesting underage boys. So I think this is their way, or a part of their agenda to destroy young boys at a very young age so that they will grow up to be gay. Because you have a lot of dudes, man, that were sexually assaulted or molested at a young age. And as they get older, they don't want to be with a woman because of what happened to them when they were young. And the same thing happened with young girls that's being molested by men. And nowadays, you have young girls being molested by women. All right, so Morgan Freeman, he was just being a man, and everything Morgan Freeman did, he did it openly. He wasn't trying to hide. Now, since when did a man being flirtatious end up being creepy? I spoke about this in the video of the past, man, where everything now is creepy. If a man compliments a woman now, oh, he's creepy, right? And that's not even talking about, and I'm going to do an article on that female in Texas that lied on that trooper and said that he raped her until the body cam came out and showed the truth. Now, I think men should start wearing body cams. Whenever you're dealing with a female, man, you have to have a camera on hand, right? Or have her sign some documents, man, before y'all have sex, right? Like me, I mentioned this in the video. I got a GoPro in my car now. I take my GoPro. Whenever I leave the house, I always put my GoPro in the car. I record everywhere I go now. Because there's no telling when you're going to run into a situation where somebody's going to end up lying on you. And you have no evidence to back yourself up. So Morgan Freeman is innocent, man. He's an innocent man. He's just being a dude. He's flirtatious. And no one corrected him. And of course, and think about it, none of these 16 females came forward when he was being accused of sexing his stepdaughter. Where were those females when he was allegedly sexing his stepdaughter? None of those females came forward and say, well, this is what he did to me. This is what he said to me. He touched me inappropriately, right? But none of these females came forward at that time. And when he did it in front of camera so that everybody can see, and keep in mind, no one said at the time he did that on camera, no one seemed to be bothered. No one came forward and said it was inappropriate. None of the news media mentioned it, says, oh, this was a good article, it's a good interview, but this was inappropriate. Nobody said that. So now it's inappropriate after all these years. It's now inappropriate, and he did it openly. He wasn't trying to hide. He was being flirtatious. And females, women, a man being flirtatious, there's nothing creepy about that. There's nothing creepy about a man being a man. He wasn't like stalking, harassing you, sitting in front of your house, peeking around trees and corners, wearing sunglasses or trying to look up on your skirt. He wasn't doing none of that stuff. If you sit in front of a man and you go to cross your legs with a short skirt on and you're exposed, you can expect that man to look. I'm going to look. And if that makes me creepy, then I'm creepy. Right? So cut that nonsense out. But brothers, men, we got to start protecting ourselves. And this time is past due for men to start trying to fight back. Too many men are being destroyed by the lies of females. And unfortunately, to keep it even, you have dudes now that's coming out lying, saying things happened when they didn't happen. Right? So feedback, tell me what you think. I'm not even going to post an article. You guys heard about it already. And I wonder who's next after Morgan Freeman. And he apologized if I made anyone uncomfortable. Anyone who works with me knows that I'm not that kind of person. And the black females that they did interview, that he did an interview with, they was like, nah, he was cool. He's never done anything inappropriate with us. Right? And when it comes to women with Morgan Freeman, he flirted with white chicks. He flirted with black women. So there was no respect of person. Morgan Freeman loved women. And in this day and time, there's nothing wrong with that. But the media and society is destroying and trying to destroy, working to destroy the relationship between men and women. And they're working to destroy the attraction that women have towards men and vice versa, men have towards women. But we can't allow them to do that. Men keep loving women. Women keep loving men. Let that man be a man. And men don't stop from being a man just because they start putting these crazy titles on you as being creepy and inappropriate and he sexually assaulted me. No one said anything at that time. They were all smiling and they did not look uncomfortable when he flirted. He's 80 years old. You can expect him to be flirtatious. I know when I turn 80, I'm going to be flirtatious, right? So, and if any man and women, if dudes say things to you or make you feel uncomfortable, now is the time to speak up. Don't wait until years down the line when this man become a celebrity or become famous or get a little money, and now you want to come forward with tears talking about how uncomfortable he made you feel and he touched you inappropriately or he said inappropriate things to you. Nah, the time to come out is now. And I think, Trump, the government has to do something about this. They need to put a stop to these lies and hold people accountable for these lies that they tell. Make that a felony. Put people away. And of course, when it comes to females, like, well, she's got a family and she's leaving her children behind. No, if she come out with some lies to destroy the life of a man, put her away. Give her a felony. Forget about that, because she didn't think about her children when she was out there lying, and being false witnesses. She didn't think about her children. If a female really thinks about her kids, she wouldn't put herself in that situation. And if she feel uncomfortable at the time that the man looking at her, then now's the time to do it. I don't appreciate that. Don't say that. My husband won't appreciate that. I have a boyfriend. I don't think he would appreciate that. If he see this video or this interview on TV, he might have an issue with that. So I don't appreciate that. Right? But it's your responsibility to correct that man at that point, because 9 times out of 10, a man don't know he being a man. If he see a woman that he find attractive, he's going to say something, or he may even make some type of gesture. But a man should not have to sneak to look at a woman. He should not have to sneak. That's being a creep right there. It's being a creep when a man is looking you in your eyes and you got all your breasts showing, you got these 2 balloons that's popping up there and he's trying not to look at you. That's not natural. If you showing your body off, women expect men to look, and you can't get offended, right? So feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe, financially support the channel. Until next time, I'm Fearless.